Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Vintage Cube draft here on the channel. My name is Nikolai, and in this video, I will be taking you pick by pick and play by play through a Vintage Cube draft, talking through all of my decisions so you can know how to draft Vintage Cube yourself. Okay, so we have a power pick here. The way I like to approach Vintage Cube a lot of the time is I look for immediately like power pick type cards that are just objectively very strong, and then I start looking for like mana based cards like Scalding Tarn or Bloodstained Mire, and then I start looking for kind of like key role players that are kind of irreplaceable in their decks. Sometimes you can swap around the mana and the key role players depending on how powerful they are. So for example, like I'm trying to think of a key role player. Like this is like a key role player in certain Storm decks. It's very narrow, whereas Stonecoil Serpent is just generically like solid in most decks. Mana Drain is a power pick. I think Scalding Tarn and Bloodstained Mire are both better than every other card other than Mana Drain. But yeah, I think that cards like this just work out pretty nicely, and we're going to start off with a pretty powerful card. Blue is a very good color in Cube in general. And in this pack, there are a couple of very powerful cards. There is Riftwing Cloudskate. There is Glenalendra, which is a card that always impresses me. There's Noble Hierarch for some acceleration. Staying in one color is generally nice, limited in general, but in Vintage Cube, you want to be getting good mana so you can like splash the power picks that actually matter. Glenalendra is a card that I'm very happy to take early, though. Just kind of takes over a game in certain matchups. And then after that, Grave Titan can be a nice, like, just fine card to play. The swords are a little bit worse in Vintage Cube than they would be other places because the quality of removal is pretty high and it's not always very creature-centric. And then after the Glenalendra, I kind of like taking cheap cards over expensive cards, so Noble Hierarch is nice. Cloudskate is good as well. Just you can set it up, and then when it comes off of suspend, you're in pretty good shape. But yeah, another solid pickup here for our deck. Coming in pick 3, there's Mana Leak, another counterspell. When you can kind of build a deck around a certain theme, like counterspells, that's pretty nice. Big colorless threats like Kozilek are actually better than they look when you do have Mana Drain in your deck, but you don't really like want this expensive of a big colorless threat. Mana Drain just makes things like maybe Wormcoil Engine more castable or things like that. There are some mana cards, but I'm not any of these colors. I mean, I am Deserted Beach colors, but you really want the Shockland Fetchland mana base if you can get it. So here I think Mana Leak is a fine pickup, good cheap interaction. You can usually find something to counter. Fact or Fiction is fine card draw, but expensive ways to get card advantage are kind of a dime a dozen in Vintage Cube. You can generally find stuff. Instant speed interaction for only 2 mana is quite nice, even though it does fall off in the late game. Having multiple counter spells makes things tougher for the opponent. Council's Judgment is fine removal. I don't really prioritize removal though. Wall of Roots can be good, but we're just generally like off to a pretty good start here. This is an interesting pack. I do like Consecrated Sphinx. It feels like if you can resolve this, you just win the game if you can protect it. We do have some tools to protect it, like having a Glenalendra in play. That can be pretty nice. There's also Solemn Simulacrum, which can do good work, but the fact that it fixes your mana as a key component of this card, just playing it as a random value engine isn't always the best. High Tide can do good stuff if you're more of a combo-y deck. We're not really in that direction right now. We don't really have a big combo payoff or like Time Spiral sort type of card. So I think taking Consecrated Sphinx is fine here. It is an expensive top-end card, but I really enjoy playing this card, and I think it's pretty powerful. And it keeps me mono blue. Outside of that, there's Fumarole as like a mana card. There is High Tide, which is a very narrow but powerful card in the right deck. Then there's just like Solemn Simulacrum, Flicker Wisp can do good stuff. Well, here there's Demonic Tutor, which is just an objectively powerful card. It generally fits best if you have like a certain card your deck is built around, or it's pretty good in Storm decks, so you can find your like key Storm cards. There's also Phantasmal Image, which is another card I really like. It's funny, for the longest time I thought Glenalendra was a like name, and so I thought it was a legendary card. And it was kind of funny when I realized it wasn't. I think we are going to take the Demonic Tutor over the Phantasmal Image, though, even though we are mono blue right now. Phantasmal Image sometimes like struggles to find stuff to copy. I guess you can copy your opponent's stuff, and being mono blue is powerful. But I'm just gonna take the Demonic Tutor. My deck doesn't really need cheap creatures or things like that. I like the Tutor. Now there's Suspicious Stowaway, like basically a strictly better Looter Ill Core. We'll zoom in on it so you can read it. The little image in the background isn't really showing up very well in the lower right corner. Yeah, I like Suspicious Stowaway. Kind of fits my game plan of passing with counters up, flipping my Stowaway into a card that can just take over the game, kind of like a take over the game threat, so that's kind of a nice game plan. Other than that, I like Signets for acceleration. I haven't seen Lonus in play yet. I'm going to take the Suspicious Stowaway. And now there's a Pestermite. This is the sort of card that can be like the defining card of your deck if you do get a Splinter Twin. So I think it's worth speculating on when you see it a lot of the time, because your deck just gets so powerful if you have an oops, I win button like that. Kolaghan's command is good, but I don't have any fixing right now, and taking a card that relies you need to get fixing for it to work is a little bit tough. I also have Demonic Tutor, so if I did get the Splinter Twin combo and I got some mana, I could potentially splash Demonic Tutor to set up the combo more reliably, which is quite good as well. That's one of the reasons Demonic Tutor is so good, is because you can set that sort of thing up. Pretty nice Pestermite pickup. In this pack, there is Tireless Tracker, which is just a powerful card. There is Brain Freeze it's generally actually kind of good as a sideboard card against Storm decks, because you can kill them if they try to storm off on you, which is kind of a fun combo. Deranged Hermit is good if I could build an opposition deck. I'm not really in an opposition deck direction, so I'm not really going to look to do that. Not really in the market for Smuggler's Copter. I think it's between Brain Freeze for the sideboard and Tireless Tracker as kind of a power pick. I think the option of having a card that can like win me the game in a Storm matchup is pretty nice. Yeah. If it does come to that. Okay, now there is... I mean, Adeline's not really where my deck wants to be. I'm kind of a defensive deck. I could see Wall of Omens being okay. This is where you can start to pick up the role players for your deck. Not really in the market for Regrowth. That's a little bit better in like Storm decks a lot of the time. I think I'll take Wall of Omens. I kind of have the nice setup for a control deck right now, and this could be a fine situation. Okay, there's a black removal spell. There is a sword, which my deck doesn't really have interest in. I think I'm just going to take the Blackleaf Cliffs in case I do end up in that Splinter Twin splashing Demonic Tutor situation. It could be good. And we'll take Council's Judgment. I do think Wall of Roots is a powerful card, so that is tempting, but we also have this Wall of Omens already, and so potential playing blue-white control is also an option. So let's just leave that door open a little bit more. Unburial Rites. Flicker Wisp is pretty good in the right deck. I'm going to take the Unburial Rites. Again, it can be a pretty powerful card in the right spot. Wow, lots of good white cards here. We're going to take the Mana Helper, though. Make sure our blue-white control deck can function. We aren't really super interested in Elspeth. It's much better if you're like pressuring them. Same with Tithe Taker. Sure, I guess we'll take Wingmare. Okay, so we did get a power pick here. Oko is very good. There's also Fractured Identity, which kind of fits our deck a little bit better even. I think Fractured Identity is just better than Oko for us. Wow, that's tough. Oko's really good, but it does require us splashing, and it's looking like we're going to be playing blue-white control that maybe splashes black. I do like Oko a lot, but Fractured Identity is also very good, and it fits our colors better, so we're going to be doing that. I would like to get this Demonic Tutor in, because being able to find Fractured Identity when we need that is really nice. We're able to get Council Judgment, so we're going to be on the lookout for mana fixing as well. If I was not taking Fractured Identity, I would take the Oko. It's a very powerful card. It just kind of takes over the game. You can play it early. Makes it a little bit worse of a splash, because then you aren't able to play it early. There's also Green Sun Zenith, a very good card. Exhume is one of those like archetype staples I was talking about, where it's like really, really good in the Reanimator deck and not really good outside of that. There's not really any mana for our deck, but yeah, pretty easy Fractured Identity, I think. That card is great. Archon of Cruelty, great in the Reanimator deck. We'll get a Swords to Plowshares here, I think. There is Mole Drifter, which is good value, but we have good value from like Stowaway and Consecrated Sphinx, and we'll just get a cheap removal spell for our blue-white control deck here. Playing a control deck in Vintage Cube can be tough, because you need to kind of cover all your bases. You need to be good against the aggro decks, good against the combo decks. There are also other control decks out there. But we have a very good start here. We have some powerful cards of our own. We have kind of a cool game plan with this Stowaway. If we can get that down early, we can just hold up mana. We also have the option of getting a Splinter Twin combo in here if we can get the good mana. Boros Signet would be a fine speculative pick. I would probably take Mole Drifter if I wasn't taking swords here, but then I think I would third pick the Boros Signet out of this pack just in case I did get that Splinter Twin combo going, because it can help that mana get a little bit better. Okay, so now there is Scarab God. Also Spellseeker. What can Spellseeker go find? Spellseeker can find me Swords to Plowshares, Mana Drain, Demonic Tutor, Mana Leak. Getting a counterspell is a little bit weaker because they'll know it's coming. There's also Scarab God. Thraben Inspector is a fine, like, early blocker. I kind of like Spellseeker. I can get Swords to Plowshares or Demonic Tutor. Scarab God is a nice closer, but I don't have the mana to splash black really right now anyway. I also like Thraben Inspector. Spell Pierce is pretty good. Nice, cheap counter spell. Usually you can find a way to use it. Not really as big of a fan of Mana Tithe when you have better counter spells available, but Spell Pierce is fine. Okay, we're just going to keep getting our mana better and better. Scrubland would be my next pick out of this pack, I think. Over Oust, just to help me with my splash if I do end up being able to splash it. But I think Colonnade's a great little win condition. Slash land, so we'll take that. And we do see the opposition. So remember I talked about how our deck wasn't really an opposition deck. If we had been going in a blue-green direction and had taken that Hermit late in pack 1, we would be able to use this opposition a little bit better. There is some mana, but I'm actually going to take the Thieving Skydiver. I think this card is just pretty powerful. Even if I only need it as a sideboard card, it can kind of take over the game sometimes. The Geist of St. Traft, eh? This card doesn't really fit our game plan. It's kind of a sorcery speed threat, but there's nothing really else for us. There's Razorverge Thicket, I guess. We're not really a Relic Warder deck, so I guess we'll take it. In some matchups, it can be very, very good. Stoneforge Mystic, eh? Not really for our deck. We don't have any equipments. There's Relic, but we do have... Do we have Graveyard Interactions? I guess we don't really have Graveyard Interactions. I guess we could take Gideon as well. Not really an equipment deck. I don't think we want Mutavault. It's between the Stoneforge and the Gideon. I guess we could also just take Relic as a sideboard card, but I think Gideon is powerful in certain matchups. Being able to resolve that. And now we will take the Containment Priest as a little bit of a counter for if we do face a Reanimator deck. We didn't get that Relic of Progenitus. When you're building a best of 3 deck, making sure you take cards that are good in certain matchups. Like Geist is very good in a control mirror. So we might not main deck it, but similarly we might use it. Blade Splicer can be great against aggro decks. So we kind of have our core cards here. The Demonic Tutor not currently in the deck because our mana can't support it really. In Vintage Cube, because all of the cards are so powerful, you only want to splash if you can get the mana to do it really. Or if you're splashing like a power pick. And Demonic Tutor is a powerful card, but it's more of a facilitator for the power picks. Like helps us find our Fractured Identity over and over. So this is currently our main deck build. Looks like of our blue-white control deck. Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Not really a card you play like by hardcasting, but we'll take a anti-artifact sideboard card / maybe we'll play a deck that we need to have some flash threats for, and that it could perform in that role. Mana Tithe and Vala. Not really in the market for Mana Tithe. We have better things to do with our individual manas. Ooh, Oust came back. Nice. That's actually a really good addition to the deck. Looking like we're going to be getting most of the cards we want here. We'll take this card in case we go into red. Last pick, Relic Warder, eh? Okay. So we have like 13 playables that we're really like happy main decking, and then we're going to be looking for a few more here. I'd love to see Hallowed Fountain. I think that's just a great addition for our mana base. Karn is pretty good as well. This is a value engine, but we're just going to take the mana card. We're going to be able to make playables with these sideboard cards that we've got currently there, and just making sure we never stumble on mana is going to be really nice, especially with double blue, double white, that sort of thing. And we could, oh gosh, the double click on accident. Here it's interesting because Flooded Strand helps our mana out, and Remand is just a very good card. Kind of a similar spot where we were last time. This is where if we had, in pack 1 we had the chance to take the black-white land, and we didn't do it. I think we took something good over it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But that's where like Flooded Strand makes your mana base pretty nice. Remand is just super good, though. Flooded Strand or Remand. What to do, what to do. I think Remand is very good, and we have pretty good mana here. We aren't going to be able to see any of the fetchable lands that can get, I guess we could see a black-blue land still. Just splash our black card, but we just want to make sure we get good playables, and we have good mana already. Vendilion Click is a nice flash threat. Worm Coils, okay, we're not really going to use that, so let's just take the click. Oh, Karmic Guide, old art, wild. There is Faith's Fetters, there's Brainstorm. Do we have any shuffling shenanigans? No, because we did pass that Flooded Strand that would have shuffled, but we would need more than just one shuffle effect for Brainstorm to be good. I think we'll just take Time Warp, maybe. We don't currently have any Planeswalkers, but maybe we could like tempo them out, use our Stowaway or something. Control Magic can be a fine sideboard card. I'm just going to take the Time Warp, though. Caracas is very powerful. That's a really good land addition to the deck. Works well with the click. And just bouncing random legendaries the opponents have. Dig Through Time would also be fine because we don't currently have a way to use our graveyard. Here, it's between the Lyra and the Unexpectedly Absent. I think I want to take the Lyra. It's a very powerful sideboard card against the aggressive decks. Absent is nice, but I think we would just rather get like the... I guess we could wheel the Baneslayer, so I guess we do take Absent. Because there's also a Baneslayer running around. Solitude. Pretty nice addition. There was a Deceiver Exarch here, but we're not going to be able to splash red even if we do see a Kiki Jiki this last pick. Or, I mean, not Kiki Jiki, but... Oh, there's Batterskull. If we'd taken that Mystic Stoneforge, we would have been able to use that. Disenchant. There's also just Batterskull for if I do need just a random card to win against aggro. I do have Cathar Commando as like a disenchant, so I'm going to take the Batterskull here. Just in case I don't wheel some of the cards that I wanted. Emrakul can be a nice top-end card. I have creatures, instants, sorceries. No artifacts, but I can just... I guess I can't really hardcast this very well. Artifact, I mean, I can make it cost 10. That's still a lot of mana. I guess I take Thalia, or if I play against a Storm deck, even though it hoses me a lot. Concealed Courtyard could help me with a Black Splash, but I'm just going to take the Cave over Sun Titan, I think. Get some extra utility out of my lands. We did get the Baneslayer. Absent's a fine card just because it's a flash threat. Lyra can be good. Okay, so we have to add a couple of the randos from our sideboard, but we have great sideboard options, and we'll be able to really tune our decks for game 2 and 3. I think the main deck configuration is pretty nice here. Time Warp can just be used as a tempo tool to attack our opponents to death. We have a lot of flash. We can hold up our mana very well. That makes the Suspicious Stowaway actually a really good card in our deck, so I like that aspect of it. So this is 24. We're gonna play 17 lands here, I think. I think the Remand pick was correct. I think that card's just really good. And my deck has some nice tempo-y elements. And I have like really good sideboard against aggro. I can just bring in all of these cards. I think Gideon could be good. I'm going to play the Gideon. Then I have room for 3 more cards. I'm not generally going to be the beatdown, so I don't really want the Geist. I do have one other Angel, which probably makes Lyra better than Baneslayer. And I have the Caracas to rebounce it. So I'm going to do that to help against aggro. And then would be I play Pestermite just as a tool in the toolbox. Get some stuff going there. And then I can play one more card. So I've kind of tuned my deck to be good against aggro. Might as well just go the full gamut and just play the Baneslayer Angel and then side in like my Geist and my like Cathar, some more flash threats. Yeah, let's just or I could play Blade Splicer. I think I'm gonna play it like this though. Okay, sort by color. So yeah, we have a couple of white lands here. Add basic lands. Yeah, it looks like a pretty sweet blue-white control deck. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Our mana didn't get too spicy, but we just didn't really see the times to take those cards. We have great sideboard options, so it's going to be fun to play. And I'll see you folks in the matches.
It is once again time to shout out the P to the A to the TREON, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, spicing up the credits section of this video. If you are enjoying my video, you want to find out more about supporting my content and helping our community continue to flourish, thrive, and grow, check out the description link to the Patreon page. It is a place where you can support my content directly, gain access to some cool rewards like my tier list for each set and other bonus content, and you can choose any amount you want. It really does have a lot of flexibility to it, and it can be canceled anytime if you decide you don't like my content anymore or whatever circumstances come up in life. It really is a great system for helping to support the creators you enjoy. Hopefully I can count myself among one of those, but regardless, I hope you're enjoying this video so far, and without further ado, let's get to the games.
Welcome to round 1. We have a great hand here. We get to see how the Stowaway performs. So we will keep. We drew Wall of Omens. It's hidden behind this little window. I will find a better place to put this. I'll put it in the upper corner here. That's kind of where the storm count goes, but we can always move it back later if we want. So we will start with this Celestial Colonnade. Black-green could be a grindy matchup, so Suspicious Stowaway could be really good. Okay, so Sultai. Using this as an explorer. That's one of the weaker uses of Time Walk, but still quite good. We will let them counter our Stowaway if they want. We'll kill it. It's the sort of card. There's some cards that are like very good if they can survive, but you just have to run them out and hope they survive. Okay, Vraska it is. We'll play this Thieving Skydiver to try to keep the Vraska in check. Mystic, sure. Okay, so I'm going to want to bring in my artifact removal. Okay, I'll move this back down now that the game has actually gotten underway. They sacrifice a forest, okay. We'll see what we draw off wall. That is a good card. That is the sort of card that can win you the game. They draw an extra card. We could steal their Vraska and be well set up to defend, or we could steal their Portal. Stealing Portal is probably better. Killing Vraska should be relatively easy with our flyer. Oh, that could be troublesome. That's really good with their Vraska. They're sacking their Mystic. Okay. Each other creature and each opponent. So I can do this and kill Bitter Blossom. I think that's worth it. We'll attack Vraska just to make sure here. They look like they have something up in terms of mana, so maybe I'm just supposed to flash in my Avacyn. Yeah, I'm going to play it instant speed here. They've got 4 mana up. It could be so many different things. Back to Fiction. Okay, so they get to pick what pile they keep. I generally want to make the 2-card pile with their better cards, so let's put their Green Sun Zenith into a pile. This thing into a pile. Don't really care about Wall of Blossoms. We're going to split it like this. If they want the land, or if they want like the Zenith, which could get anything, I'm kind of scared of that. Okay, so they took the 3-card pile. Maybe they'll tap out and I can use my Vraska play. Doesn't matter. Homage will win the tie. The longer we wait, the more odds of them playing something really good for us to kill. That's a problem. 'Tis a problemo. They block here, it'll kill their Elvish Mystic. I think I want to have the extra flying blocker lying around. Yeah, I was supposed to fire off the Fractured Identity. Felt like they could easily have a counterspell though. Sometimes I feel like I might play around too much stuff almost. I wonder was good though. No, Avacyn is dead. Avacyn is dead. Long live Avacyn, as they say. We will be able to kill Grist. Oh, wow. Getting rid of the Vraska. That's a strategy. I think we're going to take their portal. This game looks like it's going to last a while. If I can resolve my Fractured Identity, that is. They did have a counterspell. Well, I think I just lose now. Like, I don't think I can really win. That's tough. So I was correct to play around a counterspell before. Just they kind of had the goods. That's one of the powerful things you can do. That's one of the things my deck is pretty good at. I have a decent number of flash threats and things. This is not the matchup where Baneslayer Angel shines. So I'll have some good sideboard options. This is a matchup where Geist of St. Traft actually looks pretty good. Doesn't really matter what I vote. Not having any sweepers in my deck makes this a lot trickier as well. Oh gosh, we're gonna get to see more of their deck though. They have an Ugin. That's good to know about. That card couldn't wreck my day. Okay, so they just have a eclectic combination of cards. Questing Beast doesn't necessarily feel like it belongs in their Sultai kind of control-ish deck. Counterspell, okay. They're going to flashback their Storm the Festival next turn. Grist can kill my Baneslayer. I think I'm just going to scoop this up. Yep. So we have some good options, luckily. So we can hard counter their Storm the Festival with this. Or kind of counter it. We'll bring in the Cathar Commando for the extra help against their Coercive Portal, and then we'll bring in that, and then we'll cut the Lyra, the Baneslayer Angel. Oust is also like not the most powerful. Let's see what else we have that might be bad. Thieving Skydiver could be good. Pestermite's not a great addition in this deck right now. Between the Pestermite, because it lines up so poorly against Bitter Blossom, and the Oust. But we can probably find a use for Oust. They have a few cards that are clunkers. So let's do it like this. We will be on the play this time. And we have a fine hand. Good for pressuring them a little bit. Last game they also went, if you recall, Time Warp into a turn 3 Vraska, so that was pretty good for them on the play. I didn't have the good tools to pressure a Planeswalker early on. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to save the Thieving Skydiver, but I think I'm probably supposed to run it out. Never mind, that's a much better option. Thieving Skydiver might be able to take over the game. Not thieving, it's a suspicious stowaway, is what I meant to say. Okay, Nissa. Next turn we'll pass with Cathar Commando and Unexpectedly Absent up. Depending on what we draw, of course. So we know they have Mana Leak and Counterspell. It looks like they're stuck on blue mana right now. Oh yeah, we're just going to pass with everything up. Make sure we play our planes. Gonna get rid of the Skydiver. We already have an answer to the portal. And we have all these instants to play with. And Time Warp is going to be really good when it's drawing an extra card due to it being nighttime. So it looks like they do only have green mana. So anything we can do to slow them down, Unexpectedly Absent in particular, putting like Elvish Mystic back on top could really do Brutal stuff. Of course, we're going to wait, though, to see if our remand turns out to be handy. We're going to not let that resolve for now, even though we can kill it with our Cathar Commando. Coming up. Okay, so it's the end step. We could play Spellseeker and then oust the Mystic. Let's see what we draw first. That would flip it to daytime again, which we don't want. Okay, so we have the lands to play our Time Warp next turn. I should have waited so I could play this Plains, and then I can play Cathar Commando and the Unexpectedly Absent. That was a mistake. I'm going to Spellseeker, and I'm going to get Spell Pierce. That'll just make it really hard for them to resolve their 4-drop card advantage engine. X equals 2. Sure. Sakura Tribe Elder, sure. Let's get our attack in. We're going to have to move this. Looks like we're going to be able to win this game, though, I think. Just going to keep it rolling. And they concede. Okay, so we know they had some mana issues that game. So they know we have Spell Pierce. Do we want to play it the same way? Probably. I think our deck is pretty solid. We have a lot of the tools that we need. We just have to hope they don't come off to a blazing start. Though we do have some early interaction tools like Spell Pierce and Path to Exile and Oust that can help if they go for like an Elvish Mystic start. Okay, this is a good hand. It has some nice early interaction. This is where Remand can shine. Oust on their 1-drop would be pretty nice, I think. So if they do have the elf. Oh, they do not. Containment Priest could be really spicy if they go for Storm the Festival. They can also put like Planeswalkers and stuff into play, so it's not like the end all be all, but I think it's still a fine addition. Caracas can be really good. I don't know why I said it like that, but Caracas definitely has potential. Caracas. Let's just get our 3/1 beater into play. Start hitting them for 3 a turn. Or they can mana leak it. They remand it. Okay. We'll hold up our remand. That's a weird play. I can just kill it right now, and they know I can kill it right now. And then we get to untap Jam Gideon. We are going shields down, but shields down to get Gideon to play. Seems good. In the next turn, we can go Stowaway plus Hold Up Remand, or we can Council's Judgment something. If they do play anything terrifying. Wow, they just hold it up. Well, that's interesting. We're just going to keep zeroing Gideon, I think. Make an army. I'm afraid of them having a removal spell for if I make it into a creature. Like, I don't know, not a removal spell exactly. I guess I have Caracas to protect it. I think next turn I'll maybe start attacking. I think for the first turn, couple turns is good to make sure you get your value while the sun is shining, as the saying goes. They could have a sweeper of some kind. I think maybe I was supposed to attack with Gideon. Hitting for 5 is a lot of damage. Ebon Death. That's fine. They're going to get to kill my Gideon. There are worse things. If they don't cast anything on their turn. Let's just do that to protect Gideon. Caracas is broken. They don't want it to become nighttime. Oh man, I didn't get to have my Containment Priest in play. Oh man, my sideboard tech. I think it's better to keep Gideon alive though. And they can get planeswalkers and stuff anyway, so it's not like... That's a little bit sad, but yeah. So they got one creature anyway, so that's not a huge deal. Time walk, sure. I think I want to have the option of flashing an Avacyn if I loot into a land. I can loot away this Containment Priest. It's useless to me now. Other than as a 2/2, so maybe I will keep it, but... They're probably going to chump. I could also loot away the Sphinx. Yeah, that's looking like a good option right now. They have enough blue sources to cast Time Walk twice. I don't really care about the Time Walk as much as the follow-up spell. I do kind of want to try to counter it though. Yes. Because then they would just go for their... I know that one of their cards is the useless Ebon Death. If they don't have an extra turn, it can't attack Gideon. So we got there. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Let's see, are there any changes we want to make? Maybe we don't want to go full out all of the angels. What was one of the cards that was pretty good? I think Cathar Commander may just be sneaky good. So let's cut the Baneslayer Angel for that. And run it like this. And I'll see you folks in the next round. Welcome to round 2. Well, you certainly want to play first. And this is a good hand. In Vintage Cube, you basically never want to... I mean, I would almost say, never want to be on the draw, because you just fall so far behind if they have a fast start with mana accelerants and just get a planeswalker down. So we're going to start by playing this tapped. Save ourselves a life in case we really need it. We have Solitude in case we need that. We still get to play this Cave. Oh, that's a good draw. And we'll get to play Click. You almost always want to click your opponent, but you can click yourself. There's this incredible clip of Paul Rietzel. He plays his Vendilion Click, and before his opponent can like reveal their hand, he says, "Oh no, I'm targeting myself," which just class act, Paul Rietzel. Gotta love it. Okay, so this could be a spot where we would click ourselves because we would really need a land or something. But I think we're going to upkeep, click them. Actually, no, draw a step, draw a step. What am I doing? Okay, we'll draw a step, click them. And then we'll just count on drawing a land naturally over the next few turns. And we'll see what's going on in their hand, if they have anything good to Fractured Identity in the next couple turns. Sometimes you even click them and then you don't even take anything. I will say Suspicious Stowaway has been pretty good. Against a green deck, Solitude should do some good work. Okay, so they have lands. What's a card that I would want to steal? I kind of want to steal this Elder Gargaroth. Ooze is less nice to steal, but the Ooze isn't as powerful. They have Courser, they have Druid. Courser is their best play. Oracle's also really powerful. So there's one card that I'm going to want to take and one card I'm going to want to Solitude. So which one's which? I'm going to want to take the Elder Gargaroth because green-blue is not going to be able to kill it and I can take over the game. The Oracle of Moldiah, not going to want to have to deal with that. So I'll probably want to Solitude this thing. They are a turn away from the Oracle, and if I take the Oracle, they'll play Thrawn Dynamo instead. So I could see myself taking the Biogenic Ooze. But they're so far away from that, I can find answers in that time. I'm going to take... If I take the Devoted Druid, they can power out a card a turn early, but that's okay, unless I miss a land drop, in which case it's not. So I think I could take Courser or Oracle. I'm going to take the Oracle of Moldiah. Not like... That's a tough pick, though. I wonder, let me know in the comments below what you would have picked. And if you're enjoying the video, you can hit the like button. Let me know that you're enjoying Vintage Cube content. I'll make more in the future. So they are playing the Courser. I'm not surprised. They play with the top card of the library revealed. It is a land. So we hit the land drop we needed. So we're going to not do anything this turn, but then we're going to have options the rest of the game, which is nice. And they can't kill Consecrated Sphinx, at least according to my current knowledge of what they have going on. This is so exciting. There's a lot of big decisions being made constantly. Okay, so we'll hit them. We have them on a 7-turn clock. They will probably, if I had to guess, play the Elder Gargaroth first so that they don't take extra damage from this Vendilion Click. Okay, so they drew a forest, and the top of the library is still a forest. The top of their library is still a forest. So the only card, the card they have, we're going to know their hand for the rest of the game, as long as this Courser is in play. So they'll hit me for 2. So we are going to get to, if they do attack us next turn, we're going to get to flash in the Archangel Avacyn and eat their Courser of Crufix, which will be really good. And then untap Fractured Identity, their guy. Okay, so we know they have a forest in hand. Actually, 2 forests in hand. And then they have the 1 unknown that they drew when we clicked them. Which 5-drop are they going to play? I'm usually pretty impressed by the Absent. It just generally does good stuff. And now they're almost certain to play the Gargaroth because they don't want me to attack them with Absent as well. And then that's where I get them. Gargaroth. Go to Druid. They only have a Forest up, so I can have a free window to resolve my Fractured Identity. This game is playing out very poetically for me, just everything lining up the way I want it to. Obviously, they do have oodles of mana here. Oodles and oodles of mana. We'll be able to piece something together, though, hopefully. Especially with our extra turn. Unless they clear the board with, like, an Ugin. That would be a pretty good play. 3/4, they have the mana for it. So then there's an island as an unknown. They have... Yep. Okay. Had these two cards and 2 unknowns. So against mono green, they have coursers. So the Cathar being good again. I'm glad I have this thing. I think I'm going to main deck it going forward. I think card's just good. The Leonin Relic Warder could also be good because they're probably not going to have interaction. This card's worse than it looks. Don't really need this, but I think the Relic Warder could be good. And this thing really struggles against the top end that we've seen because the Biogenic Ooze is going to outgrow it. Though I guess I'd kill them in like 4 turns if I play this. I think I do want the Relic Warder, though. It's good against the Thrawn Dynamo and the Courser, and I'll be able to cast it on like turn 4 or whatever. So we're going to bring that in. What's this card down there? Oh, unexpectedly absent. No, I don't want to take that out. I just wanted to move it here. Okay. So they're not going to have a ton of interaction. All of our removal is what we want. Glenelendra is still probably good enough. Let's cut the Pestermind. It's just our weakest card. We're going to probably, maybe we even keep it out of the deck moving forward. The Relic Ward is pretty fragile, so I think it's more of a fringe card that we're going to want to bring in out of the board. This card just has some applications in a lot of matchups. But yeah, our deck is performing pretty well. That game went very smoothly. So not every game can go that smoothly, but when you play a Remand on turn 2 and then a click on turn 3, it's hard to go that far wrong. We have like a carbon copy of our last hand. In terms of the first few turns, the tapped Hollow Fountain into Cave. I haven't really felt like I was going to ever activate the Cave. Okay, Rathalos, that's a problem. Okay, they got rid of Search for Tomorrow. So unfortunately, we're going to be a turn behind on... We'll be able to remand whatever they play this turn, but we're still going to be a turn behind on going Spellseeker to get a Oust for the Rathalos. Maybe we don't even want to do that. Maybe we just want to save it for what the other creature they play. Oh. Oh my gosh. We're going to use our Spell Pierce here. And they have just no gas left in the tank. I find it hard to imagine them coming back from this. I mean, they have a lot of mana, so they could just top deck something insane. They're going to get their island with Search. We're not going to remand this. We didn't want a Spellseeker there because we want to get like Spellseeker and Oust in the same turn, and I'm afraid of what they're going to cast this turn. We just basically want to stall until we can Fractured Identity their big play. And they only have 1 black mana, so if they need that... Nice. Cathar Commando, okay. So we know they have Biogenic Ooze. Oh, they can play it anyway. Okay. They're out of cards, though. Yes, we will go get swords to plowshares. Unless, I think we want to do that. Swords to plowshares, the ooze. Because we could have gotten oust and ousted the token. And then tried to steal this later. But I think they have better cards to steal with our Fractured Identity, and we will just use our Cathar Commander to trade off with the ooze, and then we'll be in great shape. Eventually just jam our Sphinx. If they play something scary this turn, we can Fractured Identity it. Oh, baby. That's a lot of mana. So we might just Fractured Identity whatever they're playing here. Oh, perfect. Hello, Elder Gargaroth. Welcome home, as they say. It's good to have you back on team, Nikolai. Welcome back. Questing Beast, sure. We have Unexpectedly Absent to help deal with that. So what we're going to do here is, because we don't want them to triple block the Gargaroth, we're going to attack here. Draw a card. And actually, we could create a 3/3. No, I think we just want to start drawing. And then they single block. And we'll tuck it 2 cards deep. So that means they won't draw it. So it's just beneath the top 2. So it's the 3rd card down. And I still deal the full 6 damage. I can flash in my Cathar Commando on end step. So they still aren't drawing it yet. Well, that's just peachy. I'm going to keep drawing, I think. They triple block it, we flash in Avacyn. Okay. It was nice to draw the Avacyn, but like I still would have won even if I hadn't. Because like I just attack, trade with all their guys, play Consecrated Sphinx, so they can't possibly win, I don't think. So yeah. Nice. Quick 2-0. Double check our deck list before heading to the finals. I like it. I think it's pretty good. I think we're going to leave the Relic Warrior on the sidelines for now, but maybe bring it in if we don't need this Lyra, and we'll head to the final round. Welcome to the final round. Let's see if we can get the trophy here. We have won the die roll. We will play first. We will take our first mulligan of the day. It's okay. Mulligans happen. This hand is pretty good, though. We will keep it, and we will ditch the Time Warp. Our deck does care about hitting land drops, so we will play the plains in case we do need to swords something. Like if they play a Mother of Runes, that's a pretty good candidate for swords. Noble Hierarch, also a fine candidate. We'll just slow down their development. A lot of the time you don't really care about swordsing the Mana Dork, but because Noble Hierarch has extra utility, we will get rid of it. We'll draw a step, click them. Potentially get rid of their turn 3 play if they only had 1. They have Crucible of Worlds. That could be scary. They have Portal. They have Augur of Autumn. We're definitely going to get rid of the Augur. That's a scary card to face down. And then the other cards we can like counter and stall them out a little bit. They will get to resolve Crucible. So if they do have Strip Mine, that's probably GG. But they still have to draw the Strip Mine and things like that. Card's interesting. I'm not particularly scared of it right now because I'll be able to take the Monarchy. Of course they have Strip Mine, just right off the top. That's just horrific. Oh my gosh. You're kidding me. That's just tragic. Really? They just draw it instantly? And I can't possibly win? Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm gonna play this. I still have some chance of winning if they, like, because they have to waste their entire turn to strip mine me, pretty much. And I could technically draw my, if I keep drawing land, no, I can't really ever draw enough land to get it going. Yep, I need to draw a kill spell for that. And I will concede. Okay. That was tough. There was nothing I could have done, though. I think I have to play it the way I did. I'm gonna put the relic order in. Just pretty unlucky there. If I had like a couple extra turns, I literally could have had a counter spell. I mean, I could have countered anything else that they were gonna play. Augur of Autumn is definitely the scarier card there when I don't see Strip Mine immediately. Let's try that again, shall we? Maybe I'm supposed to not cast my Vendilion Click till end step. It feels pretty powerful if they only have 1 3-drop or something. So they actually have a pretty legit Crucible deck. They have a fetch land. Okay, Fellows, sure. We're gonna flip our guy. We'll be a little greedy there. They double spell. That's okay. I will ditch the... it's tempting to keep Avacyn. Take out that Raphellos for now. Goes third from the top, I think. Second from the top, so they'll draw it next turn. Maybe I was supposed to get rid of the Time Warp. I might loot away the Time Warp next turn. The flavor text, invincible is just a word. Gideon Jura. If they play their court card, I think I might let it resolve so I can become the monarch. And nice. Get mana drain. I should have looted first, I guess. Find it hard to imagine I would have done a different play. Okay, we'll get rid of Time Warp now. There are a lot of cards we just don't care about anymore. We don't really care about Raphelos. Don't particularly care about Crucible either. I know they drew Raphelos this turn. Because Crucible will be able to take out a couple of my lands. I guess it can take out my white sources if they have the strip mine. So they're going to get Noble Hierarch. I'm assuming at least. They could have other options, but not going to mana drain it. Chiraga, sure. Sure. Raphelos. That's a card. Well, Spell Pierce is not going to be good here because they have so many extra lands. We'll make it nighttime, though. They could double spell, but we'll force them to do that. But they didn't level up yet. And if they play a big creature, we have Solitude to flash in. And if they don't, we will just mana drain it. And if they don't, then we just don't have any really concerns here. We're going to find place life total wise. We have a counter that they know about, which might make them make suboptimal plays, or they might play around the counter forever, and then we just Solitude. Sure. We have Solitude to deal with creatures. If they do have a Carnage Tyrant, then it's a problem. Augur of Autumn is fine. They do have 3 different powers. Sure. Well, this is just about as peachy as it can get. Kind of hard to imagine we're going to loot away anything. Goodbye, Colonnade. I think we've got this game in the bag. We just need to focus up, make sure we continue our tight play. They have 1 card in hand. Just going to make this thing into a 1/4, it looks like. full level up on that Chiraga Tree Speaker. If they don't do anything, we could even just unexpectedly absent to reset their draw step. Slow them down. Actually, no, I don't want to do that because then they'll just be able to discard it with survival. That would be bad. I could put survival on top. That might be good. But that could help them double spell. No, because they didn't have a spell now. Should have attacked with this maybe. Because even if they block, I'm gaining 3 life. That would have been better. Flame spell. We will mana drain that. Keep our guy alive because he's just going to be taking over this game, drawing me a lot of extra cards. Does leave the shields down, but you got to win somehow. And so if you get rid of all your win conditions, I mean, we do know what they're drawing next turn, which is nice as well. So we're drawing 2 cards a turn. And we have this fractured identity for if they do resolve something scary. They're probably feeling okay about the situation relative to where they were a few turns ago because they've been working through my cards. That ought to make them feel a little bit worse. Boom. Here comes the Lyra, ready to go. I wonder if there are any assumptions that you can make about an opponent's deck. Like if they're playing blue-white in the cube, does it mean they have fractured identity? Or does it mean that they're relatively likely to have it? That's a place where I haven't quite gotten in the cube, where it's like, well, these are the cards they have. They probably have this, so I should be afraid of that. Where it's like you almost get to expect what they have in their deck. Wow, they have Arlen coming in as a... Oh, gosh. Oh, they're adding mana. They don't want to... Indestructible Haste Werewolf. You know, I just might, though. I just might. Well, that's a card. We will kill Arlen. I know I could attack their face. Kill them in 2 turns. I guess that was probably bad then. It's tough to say. I mean, I'm sure there's a answer there, but I like playing around my like downfalls almost, where it's like if the opponent does have like a board sweeper or an Ugin that they resolve, I just end up in so much trouble if they can do that, and they just have an extra Arlen in play. So maybe I was supposed to put them on the 2-turn clock, but then they'd kill my werewolf, and they're not on a 2-turn clock, and then kill the planeswalkers generally fine default. At this point, we've seen a lot of their deck. They've seen a lot of our deck. Knowing they have a mere Battlesphere is nice. A mere Battlesphere. Game pretty intense. After that first game where they just rolled us with their Strip Mine top deck. This time we get to slowly defeat them. I feel like overall they've been in far more pain than I have because I just got to lose the game quickly. They've had to slowly watch as their game plan is deconstructed. It would be really funny if Plummet was in the Vintage Cube because they would probably bring it in. Oh my gosh, Tovolar's Huntmaster, really? Well, it'll be nice to have my own Tovolar's Huntmaster, I guess. Okay, so I have... So I have 2, 7, 11. Oh, no, I don't, because they can fight my stuff. All right. Welcome to Team Nikolai, Tovalar's pack leader. We will get rid of that survival. Okay, the game has ended. So they have a couple of werewolf cards. So making it nighttime might actually not be as beneficial as I would hope. They do have more creature stuff than I thought. Creatures. If only that said land as well. Dang. Don't think I want the Baneslayer Angel. Demons and Dragons. Haven't seen any of those. Glenalindra has not shown up today yet. I think we're just going to run it back. I think our deck has been performing well. That last game was a pretty textbook game for us. I think 1 Lyra is a good sweet spot to be in right now. This is an interesting hand on the draw. We have 3 dual lands. We have a decent number of white sources. We have Vendilion Click to help ourselves. We're going to keep this hand. We'll target ourselves with Vendilion Click if we don't draw exactly what we need here. But I like the turn 1 Spell Pierce option. I could also have Swords there, Llanowar Elf. And this hand has immediately gotten a lot better. I don't really want to get rid of the elf right now. Okay, that can't possibly be good for me. No, thank you. Okay. We will draw a step, click them. We do not have any permission spells, so we can't really stop whatever they wanted to do. Anyway, we could have swords their Llanowar Elf, but we have being able to swords whatever else they have is pretty nice as well. They could flame spill this. Okay, so we probably don't want to have to deal with the portal. We could also just Council's Judgment that. They have a lot of expensive cards, so maybe we will get rid of the Llanowar Elf. I don't think we really care about any of these cards. I kind of want to not have to deal with this portal. Yeah, we're going to get rid of the portal. We have the swords to deal with the Wormcoil Engine. Okay, they are not going to flame spill me yet. That's good. What? That would be a crazy attack. So they don't have the portal. So we could either play Gideon here, make a token, and then kill this thing, attack Gideon. Or they'll just play it. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll be able to play the Mirror Battle Sphere next turn. So we're going to have to start cranking out those tokens to fight it. We have swords to deal with Wormcoil Engine. We could actually Council's Judgment Wormcoil as well. This is intense. And if I do draw my fractured identity, that could be good too. We just need to be able to deal with the little mirrors. Yep, playing the mirror battlesphere. That's what I expected. That's a good draw. Okay. So we've dealt with some of their options. They are going to be able to kill the Gideon if they really commit everything and they sack a couple mirrors, but that's probably worth it. This is tough because on one hand, if they attack Gideon, I get to keep my Gideon if I swords this. Can't tap and attack. So they attack Gideon with that. They attack with the extra token. That's 4. I get to block this thing, block the token, and unexpectedly absent something. Okay, actually don't have to use my swords. That's good. And I get to get rid of their land and save my swords for their worm coil. Block. Block. Get rid of this thing. Wait, what am I doing? That's a terrible block. Wait, why can't I? I haven't finalized my blocks yet, have I? Wait, I did? No, I want to block the other way. Well, that's unfortunate. Dang it. I could have kept my extra guy around. I just, like, zoned out on the block. Just terrible. Honestly. Could cost me the game. Dang it! If I had an extra 2-2, I'd be able to eat an extra token. I'd still be able to take it down. But that extra 2-2 can come in clutch. Dang it. I clicked through my thing too quickly, I guess. Should have been more careful. Let's hope to draw something good here. It's so close. Oh, the extra 2-2 could make a difference. I would have been able to attack them. Oh, no, that's not good. Jeez Louise. Oh, man. Tovolar's Huntmaster which is pretty good against me right now. I do need to find something good. Dang it. I made that slight misplay. It might not matter. Might win or lose by a mile anyway. Okay, that could be problematic. Hex Drinker, eh? Well, that could be really bad for me. I need to find something now. Something like a Fractured Identity? That would have been helpful last turn. So we're attacking now in the hopes that they'll level up their Hex Drinker. But not all the way. Oh no, they can level it up all the way. Dang it, we're going to lose because we just whiffed for too long. We do too many lands. Dang it. Only we could have found something useful. Yeah, we die. Dang, that was a close one. The 2-2 didn't matter in the end. It was the lack of action that mattered. We actually have Council's Judgment, which can deal with Hex Drinker once it's like this. But we already used that. So we have no outs, I think. Tough, tough. That's just how it goes sometimes. They got exactly the 4 lands they needed and then never drew anything extra. And we just drew 4 more lands than they did, so they had more spells to work with. That card would have been pretty nice earlier. We're kind of close. I mean, yeah, we just lose. Let's just concede and save ourselves. Oh, that was tough. But it was a hard-fought draft, hard-fought battle, and I was pretty happy with how we played and built our deck overall. Real close one. Right there, down to the wire at the end there. But that's just how it goes. If you were watching this on YouTube and you made it all the way to the end of this video, remember to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help the video succeed. Comment below to let me know you want to see more Vintage Cube or what you thought of this one. And also you can subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon to get notified when I post future videos. You can also support my work directly via Patreon, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, if you would like to help chip in to help me make these videos and get access to some unique bonus content and cool rewards in the process. That's the best way to do so. There's also a host of other cool things linked in the description down below, like the NicolaiBolas Discord server and the merchandise website and my articles and all that sorts of things like that. And then if you did make it all the way to the end of this video, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag, I don't know, what's a good one to leave to let me know you made it all the way to the end of this video. I've hashtag blue white flash because we kind of had a lot of instant speed shenanigans going on and it felt very, very nice. And we got a lot of good value out of being able to play at instant speed. So really close draft overall. Or hashtag subbing out Pestermite because we subbed this card out every single time. But I still felt like it had its place in the main deck, so that's a cool little takeaway from this draft. That is going to do it, though. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.